You're listening to Hey Pal, What's New with John, Alex, and Greg. Hey Pal, What's New is a GBR production. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all other social media platforms. Hey Pal, What's New can be found on Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google, Podbean, Pandora, and all your other favorite podcast locations. Warning, Hey Pal, What's New contains explicit content. John, Alex, and Greg are a pair of vulgar Gen Xers. If you are easily offended, please stop listening and go download a nice tame podcast like the Goop Podcast. You have been warned.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For those of you wondering, I was just explaining to my fine co-host here how I keep getting phone calls from marketing companies, them thinking I'm my brother. And then the last person was like, I was like, I think you think I'm my brother. And they go, oh, do you guys have the same name? And I'm like, same last name. She's like, oh, do you have his contact info? I go, yes, I do. And she's like, can I get it? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
If my brother wanted to talk to you, he'd reach out to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, God, don't get me started. It's a Xanax day today anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, good times. Hey, everybody. It's Hey Pal, What's New? We're back. It's Friday night. Yeah.
It's Friday night.
Hanging out with chickens.
Oh, yes, I brought Greg to the basement and showed him my rooster.
Yeah. First we did some docking, and then
When you get chickens, you get what you get, and they assume like they missex them sometimes. It's hard to tell. It's not like you can be like, oh, let me see. I don't know how you sex a chicken. You can tell if they're male or female, whether it's a hen or a rooster.
no.
But every now and then you get 5 chickens. You run the risk that one of them might be a boy.
Oh, yeah, and fun fact fanny pack. Fun fact knapsack. Now it's ours. A good fun fact about roosters, like in the cartoons where they crow in the morning. No, they crow all fucking day long.
I did find out. Kate said that there's it's a humane thing you can buy that you put on the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a collar.
Okay.
And what it does is it keeps them from I guess expanding as much as they can, so they can't crow. They still make noise, but not like that.
Yeah, I used to have a neighbor that had chickens, and one of them was a rooster, and that's when I was working from home. I was like, I'm gonna make a freaking 6-piece out of this guy. He had a collar on though. It did say "Daddy." I don't understand why, but we're coming in hot today. It's gonna be a sultry Hey Pal, What's New this holiday season.
Christmas.
The blessing. Now we're not up to that yet. Listen,
Not yet.
my thing is, it's not Christmas. I know that you watched a few things that we're going to talk about that are holiday themed.
Yes.
It is not Christmas until you see fucking Santa Claus on that sleigh Thanksgiving.
That's right.
The end of the parade, when I see Santa Claus, I go, okay, now I can enjoy Christmas or the holiday.
Not coming out of his cave yet.
It's not November 1st. It's no. Put Mariah Carey back in the box. She's not ready yet. Don't let her out.
No.
She won't do it. But anyway, I'm Greg, and that's my hetero life mate there, John Alex. And we're here to entertain you tonight with the sultry sounds of... Actually, we don't have much. It's going to be a free-form cluster F.
Oh, everything's a cluster F.
But it'll be fun. We do have some news. We did see some movies. Music-wise is but, it's going to be fun. It always is fun. That's why we do this. We don't do this, not for the millions and millions of dollars. We do it for the,
For the billions of dollars, sir.
Yeah, all that monetization that we get on the YouTube,
How do I know when we're supposed to get money from these YouTube bastards?
Well, you have to have a certain amount of subscribers.
Oh.
You have to have 1,000 subscribers before they start putting ads, and that's when you start monetizing. Yeah, we're about 900 short. Something like that. But yeah, no, yeah, it's funny. It's yeah, I can't. We can get into a whole TED talk about monetization on social media, but I'm not going to do it. So while we're at it, hey pal, what's new with you?
Same old.
Yeah.
I did get a new story from one of the guys.
All right, pull up the CSI because we're gonna get this going.
Let me strap in for this one.
Now let's hear this.
All right, so
We have to come up with a theme song for a police story.
It's another one of those stories from the guys at work, and they're like, "Please just don't mention our names." I go, "What? Why would I mention your names?"
All
Like,
right, Bob. No, I have no idea.
I always joke. I'm like, "Why would I mention your name? I don't even fucking know your name."
Officer so and so.
Yes, Officer so-and-so and Sergeant Riley. Sergeant O'Reilly over here. All right, Johnny, get in the cab. All right. No, but he was telling his time he was a rookie.
Okay.
A different guy this time, so get that one. He's a rookie, and he's like, he goes out and they get a call about a dead body.
Mm-hmm.
Also
As you
known
do.
as a DB.
DB.
Yeah, dime bag. I mean, dead body. They get this call about this dead body, okay? He's like, we show up, and I'm like, outside, and you can see. He goes, right away, there's trouble because it's a 2-floor walk-up.
Okay.
He goes, and you can already see it's on the second floor, and you could see the flies on the window. So they got to wait. They get there. There's animal controllers there because there's a dog involved now. So they get upstairs, and they realize, he's like, you walk through that first door before you even go up to the second floor, and you could smell it.
Yeah, that's that smell of death.
He goes, and that's what prompted the call. Was like a neighbor's like, I think something happened to the guy upstairs. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him walk his dog. And it's starting to. There's a funky smell coming. It's like there's that unmistakable death smell.
It's like in Goodfellas, you just keep seeing all the daily papers just piling up in front of his front door.
The mail. So he goes inside and he goes, one of the things also that lets you know it's really bad is you come through that door, and he's like, we're wearing masks.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Vicks under your nose because the smell is so bad.
A la Silence of the Lambs.
He goes, but also you can kind of smell burning coffee. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, one of the tricks is you take like a pan, put some coffee in it, and put it on the stove.
Oh, to get
and
rid
the
of
smell of the burning coffee also helps cover up the dead body smell.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, he's like, and the guy he's with, his partner's whatever is like, is a veteran. Like he's like, is a real Irish guy. He's like, just like your typical old school Irish cop.
Sergeant McNulty.
Yeah, Sergeant O'Reilly over here. Like, all right, Johnny, get up on there. So he's like, we walk up. The EMTs who are up there are like gagging.
Oh, and the EMTs are gagging.
Because I guess they have to bring the ambulance people too, because eventually when they take the body out, it has to be the EMTs or whatever, the ambulance that takes it out from the corner. I don't know.
Yeah.
So he's like, I start gagging. I have to run outside and I puke. And he's like, I go back in there. And this is a guy who's kind of small, but he's huge because he's been there for like a week. And he's laying on the floor, and it's apparent suicide.
Okay.
Because you got to say apparent because you don't know till the evidence is in. Mm-hmm. But he's got like a gunshot wound under his chin, and like basically the top of his head is blown off, and he's laying on the floor.
Ah.
And like his whole side of his face is just like, it's like something out of The Walking Dead. You see like the tendons and everything because all the meat on his face is gone. Ooh. He's like, because the dog, the guy killed himself, and the dog started eating him.
That's what happens.
Yeah, your best friend. Best friend until you're dead.
Yeah, you think you're so important in life and everything's good, but the bottom line is you die, your freaking cat and your dog are eating your face.
That's right, because as your best friend said, it's the way he would have wanted it. He would have wanted me to go on.
Yeah, exactly. He wanted to take a piece of me with him.
Yeah, he said the guy's arm was like all chewed up, his face, all that stuff. He's like, but the other officer goes, you ready, Rook? You got to do this. And I'm like, wait, you got to do what? And he goes, you have to like search the body for ID. He's like, so I got to find a wallet. And he goes, and this guy is just fucking swollen from being there.
Ooh.
He's like, he looks fat, but he's like normally like $135, $150.
Yeah, but he's all swollen up. Yeah.
He goes, so the guy's laying there, and I have to get to his back pocket. So he's like, I put my hand on him and grab underneath to like roll him to get to his back pocket. And my hand just goes into his torso, almost up to my elbow, because he's just rotten and swollen.
Ooh.
He's like, I jump up, I run outside, and just start puking.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, and I had to come back in and still get over there and get the wallet.
Like, still get the wallet, Rook.
He's like, I come back in, and I was like, did you get his wallet? Like, no, man, that's you, Rook.
Wow.
Dude, I couldn't imagine like your hands. Like I think it's something like I think I said this the other time. Like I gotta have Indiana Jones where it's like holding the heart. He's like Garima.
Garima must rule the world. Yeah, I mean, I don't like touching a bowl of rotted food in my fridge.
Oh, I know.
Let alone freaking. Although I think the worst smell ever is the milk, like the bad milk. I don't know if I ever told the story
Comes out in chunks.
told on the podcast, but there was one time where we used to have this play when my kids were little, like maybe 2 and 4. We had this Dora kitchen in their room, and it was so cute because they'd come down and be like, "Dad, we made you pizza," and it'd be like this plastic
pizza.
thing, and you're like, "Oh, this is delicious!" Oh my god,
What the fuck is that?
So Violet, when she was about 2, she they all had the sippy cups. And she decided, because this Dora kitchen was in her room, she had a sippy cup that had about maybe a quarter of it full. Put it in the fridge, in the fake fridge, and just forgot about it.
Oh.
And we're hanging out in that, we're like, something freaking stinks in here. Like, it's just bad. And I was like, oh, I found it. It was like the corpse. It was bloated. It was ready to pop. I literally just took that Dora kitchen and just threw it outside. I was like, there's no saving this kitchen.
So that's my story. That's a crazy story. But you were late tonight, man.
Yeah.
And you messaged me like, I'm leaving now. # Mimi.
Yeah. It's nothing serious. Like, when I leave my house, I always tell people, I'm like, I got to give myself the 15-minute Mimi. Now, what that is like, you can't just go upstairs, leave my apartment and say, hey, Mom, I'm going. Because that just starts a 15-20-minute diatribe about,
where you going? You podcasting, Gregory?
Are you podcasting again? I'm like, yeah, that's what we do every week. We podcast. And then she...
it's a regular gig.
She had a friend over, and...
was he handsome?
My mom's a cougar. Anyway.
Well.
She had an antelope there. No, it was... They were doing a whole bunch. They make a long story longer. She was missing an HDMI cable, and she needed. Greg, do you have an HDMI? And I'm like, I don't have one. And then she starts pulling out old VCR tapes. Like, I have to talk to you after we get off mic of like how to transfer these things digitally, because we found some freaking VHS tapes. First of all, we have like every Disney movie on
Of
VHS.
course, everybody does.
Yeah, they're
We got rid of ours.
they're worth jack shit. But the other ones we found, it was like Thanksgiving 1988.
Jeez.
We're like, oh my god. I've seen the Thanksgiving one. It's a freaking classic.
Oh.
Freaking Greg with his Alternative Tentacles t-shirt. But I have a ton of VHS tapes, including one of Product Society at the Briar Patch.
The Snatch.
Yeah,
Damn.
which is in pretty good condition, but we got to get all that stuff transferred. But yeah, no, that was the 20-minute Mimi at least of just like, and meanwhile my car's warming up because I hit the button and I'm just like, yeah, so podcast starts at 7, so it's like, but I really have to figure out how to get this stuff straight. Do you know an HDMI? I'm like, yeah, I'll go buy an HDMI cable tomorrow. That's gonna be our whole project tomorrow. It's going through stuff. So yeah, that's the only reason I was late today. But yeah, it was. Other than that, like I said, it was the Xanax day. It's freaking.
How about the day?
Yeah, everything's great, man. I mean, life is good, but at the same time, like work was just. So.
I hear you. Hey, at least it's not Buffalo, 4 feet of snow. You want to hear something fucking nuts? Manny was supposed to go up there this morning.
Oh, yeah?
To pick up his girlfriend.
He was going to shuffle off the buffalo?
Give it all. Stop it. Give me those ribs.
Buffalo Betty.
Yeah, he was supposed to go up. I was like, dude, you're not going up. Because he was like, oh, can I use your car? I was like, look.
You better get the Snowcat from The Shining.
So he stayed. I think he's going up on Sunday or Monday. I was like, I don't even know if they're going to be cleared out by Sunday or Monday.
Those guys are professionals up there, man. It's not like here where. So anyway, do we have any news this week there, Jackson? John, you got any news?
Okay, news-wise, there's not a huge amount of news that I could find that was really worth talking about that actually interests me.
Mm-hmm.
The two things that I've gotten, you feel free to jump in with your news, but the only two things I got that like seemed to intrigue me was the reviews are starting to come out on the Wednesday series.
Okay.
And they are loving Jenna Ortega, of course.
As you do.
But they feel that the series itself kind of misses the point.
Ugh.
So I feel like we're not getting like a Addams Family, Wednesday Addams kind of like vibe from it. It's a little bit more.
We'll see. I mean, it's always tough where it's like critics and, critics and fans, where it's just like people are going to be, and I've noticed, and we're going to talk about definitely in the movie section, like we did see Wakanda Forever, and I know it's been out for a week, but, we'll give our 2 cents on it. But good, there's been some debate on this movie, but we'll get to that. And, I'm at the point now where I just want to see it for myself. You can get that influence, and there are people that I do follow. I mean, shit, that's why we do this here. Hopefully some people actually value our opinions on certain pop culture things. But, there's people that I trust that I'm going to listen to. But even then, if it's somebody that I really respect and they're like, yeah, this is dog shit, I'm still going to go and watch it for myself,
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot. I mean, look, there's a ton of movies out there that people think is absolute crapola, and I enjoy the hell out of them, Book of Shadows, yeah. Blair Witch 2. I don't know why. I like it a lot.
Blair Witch book. Excuse me.
Yeah, the really bad Blair Witch sequel.
Yeah. Movies like Blair Witch, they're trying to ride off the fact. I always felt like the subsequent ones were like banking on that found footage. I as far as I know, that's one of like the first found footage.
The original Blair
film.
Witch was the first found footage, and then everybody did it.
And that's what Cloverfield was, and Cloverfield kind of nailed it. I will give them that. They kind of nailed it. But there was so many other movies and shit that were trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
That just missed the mark.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, even Romero did it. Poughkeepsie Tapes,
which was just dog shit. And I watched the debates on on Reddit that are like, is it real? Is that real? It's like, and I have to chime in. I go, no. They're like, how do you know it's not real? I go, I live in Poughkeepsie. It's not real. I'm telling you.
It's like we talked about last week. Peekskill.
Peekskill, yeah, Peekskill.
The Facts of Life. I never saw a Joe Polnicek ever in Peekskill.
I would have loved to see
Joe. I saw some other crap in Peekskill. I'll tell you what.
Some shit going down in Peekskill.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But yeah, now we'll see. I mean, like I said, I'll always give something, which we'll get to in the music news. I'll always give something a listen and go, all right, let's see if it is.
Look,
and if it's not for me, look, it's not for me. Whatever.
I'll watch the Wednesday Addams, and if after the first couple episodes I'm like,
yeah, sure, do an interesting take on it. Like I said, I'll watch anything if it piques my interest a little bit, but it doesn't necessarily. I'm not gonna go like, well, Roger Ebert said it sucks.
Look,
so I can't.
I had to go to lemonparty.org just to see it.
Of course.
Same thing with tubgirl.com.
Two girls, one cup. I mean, you gotta see it.
One guy, one jar. Blue waffle.
Blue waffle.
I mean, meat spin. These are classics. But
do you know how many people I freaking took their homepage and made it into lemonparty.org?
Oh, that's nice.
I remember my cousin did it to his sister's laptop and put it on there. And of course, her father needed to borrow the laptop. And it came up.
Honey, I'm gonna borrow your laptop. I just want to look something up. The guy, Meanwhile, Dad opens it up and there's the meat spinning. It's just hey, honey, I just need to use your laptop. Oh, what is this? How do I set this to my homepage? Meanwhile, he's trying to go on Craigslist to find misconnections or I'm just looking for a reputable massage parlor.
Yes, where are the good dogging sites in this area?
My sciatica's acting up. So the other news I had, and this one kind of interests me. We talked previously about them doing the sequel to Beetlejuice.
Yes.
And apparently, Catherine O'Hara, who played Delia Dietz, she's on board to join the cast.
Okay. Well, what about good
Winona?
old...
I think Winona's back, too.
Well, Winona would definitely do it. I'm talking about the husband.
Oh,
He was a naughty boy. I don't think he.
I don't think he's bad. He's dead.
9 times.
He's dead, and let's see. What are they gonna do with him? He's dead and went to the bad place.
Yeah, exactly.
He went to the bad place.
I don't think Mr. Rooney will be in that movie.
Yeah, that's about all the news I got.
Yeah, I mean, there were 2 other things that we posted on the on the Hey Pal What's New page, which, by the way, if you ever want to know what we're doing or what we're going to talk about, 9 times out of 10, if you look at the page, we post stuff on there. We try to do it daily.
And I'm going to go on board and say I'm a little annoyed at the Garden State Picker.
Why is that?
So I went up to Poughkeepsie.
Oh, that sweet boy Justin. I did watch that. And
he's got the storage unit, he said, that's got stuff in it in Poughkeepsie. And I'm like, dude, next time you come up here to get shit from it, give me a call.
Yeah.
Like, hell, I'll come over. Or how about this? You come up on a Friday and you get shit from your locker, and you come to my house and you sit down at the table
right over
and
here.
come on live on the air. We'll set up a little seat over here for you.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody has been following us, and also Sack of Sin Entertainment, which it's starting to pick up, man. We got Joe Mack, who is a photographer. He's going to be our photographer for bands and stuff. He's going to be offering his services. There's a couple people that contacted me, so it's growing. But yeah, Garden State Picker, he's definitely in the Sack of Sin. Does do his Instagram lives. We got to get him to start doing lives on the page, to get some more eyes on it. But it was interesting. He, if you watch his unboxings, John and I were watching it. It was he had a lot of Transformer stuff, and the amount of money he's getting for this stuff is crazy. Apparently, Lionsgate came to our boy Kevin Smith,
right.
and they want him to do a Red State 2.
How timely, because I finally watched that movie.
Yeah, we did we kind of did a short late to the party with Red State, but yeah, they're shooting at him for a sequel.
Good. I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, in this current climate, of course.
Yeah, well, Michael Parks is gone, so it's like, what else? He was like the main dude in it. So, yeah, I mean, so it's developing. He's getting a little sequel happy. Our boy KS.
Oh boy, is he?
Which is fine. I think Clerks 3 was amazing.
I did too. There were parts, and that's what Justin was talking about on his thing last night, and I agree with him that
the Elias thing.
Elias was just too over the top.
It sucked. I loved his character in the Clerks 2. Like, they switched him over to Clerks 3 and he became a Satanist. It was like, all right, well, they were trying to do something with him. I get it, but like,
which was fine, but they went so over the top with it.
Yeah, but whatever. I mean, it was quite a tearjerker. But
it was.
So yeah,
I cried all 5 times I've watched it.
Oh yeah, I know.
And again, that's why I like that movie. Everybody knows my rewatchability rating. Like,
yeah. Oh, those movies you can watch. It's one of those.
I'll give you my rewatchability rating when we get to Wakanda.
Oh, yeah. So the other thing that we can do before we get on to Wakanda is I noticed that they're planning on doing another Alien movie.
I saw that today.
With Freddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
Which, I've kind of tapped out on the Alien movies.
Me too.
Once they started doing Alien vs. Predator and, Alien Covenant and Prometheus and all that shit, it's just like, really? But, if anybody can do it, I think, Fede Alvarez. I mean, I loved his Evil Dead remake.
Okay.
He didn't.
I still have not seen it.
Gotta late to the party, that shit.
Know,
you cannot go into the Evil Dead remake thinking Bruce Campbell can't be. He did it straight up horror. And it's disturbing as hell.
Okay.
It's good. It's definitely...
So there's no campiness to the remake.
I mean, it's a little over the top. It's still got the, but it's not the goofy Bruce Campbell. And you're not going to... I mean, Evil Dead Rise is coming out soon, which is... That I'm looking forward to. That's going to be, Deadites in a freaking big tower. Like a big New York City one. That's
really?
Oh, yeah. You never heard about that?
No.
No, they're doing...
Excuse me while I scratch my teeth. Got an itch on my sack.
We got the Sam Raimi and the Bruce Campbell come back for Evil Dead Rise.
Okay, I'll take it.
That's going to be awesome. But, if you get a chance, I definitely recommend. I mean, Fede Alvarez has done that Evil Dead remake, which I really, really enjoyed. And it was something where it was like, this is going to suck. And I loved it. And he also has done, I believe he did Prey. He's done the Don't Breathe movies, which are really good. He's got a good eye for horror. So I'm like, okay. Well, if you're going to do an alien thing, it's better to do that than, the old regime. Maybe they'll do something different. Who knows? Maybe we'll get something similar to what we got with Prey.
Okay, hopefully.
If they do the whole Prey thing. And
so is it a sequel or a prequel?
They didn't really. It's in the works
All
kind of thing. There's Kaylee Spenny.
Yeah, I saw that too. I don't know who she is.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with her either. But these franchises, these IPs are never gonna die. They're never gonna die. So, those are really the only two things I saw as far as movie wise. Like we also talked about Smile. Which I saw, and I really, I enjoyed it. It wasn't, breaking any ground.
I started watching it and just...
Yeah, well, it's on Paramount Plus. Paramount.
I have since stopped my Paramount Plus subscription. Sorry.
Ooh,
It was so funny because Manny said to me the damn...
How you going to watch the Tulsa King?
See, I'm watching stuff, and he's like, I was watching some movie, and he goes, I think it's hilarious, Dad, that we pay for Netflix, and you could watch it on there, and yet... You're still downloading stuff.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And I go, well, yeah. I was like, not for nothing. Netflix gives you zero freaking control. I can't boost the volume because it's low, and I can't turn the brightness up because everything's dark. And it's like,
yeah.
I turn the brightness all the way up on my computer. It doesn't help the video because the darkness on the video feed from Netflix is just too fucking dark. So
yeah.
I'm a steal.
Everything's too freaking dark these days. I mean, it's crazy. It's really nuts.
Maybe if I get a better 5K, highly dynamic TV in my living room,
yes.
Put it on your Christmas list.
I'm going to ask Santa Claus, dear Santa Claus, I had this old tube TV. I can't be watching it anymore. I need something with the 4K.
But I got my VHS thing with all my own turkey videos.
That's right. We're going to watch the turkey videos. That's going to be that's what I think is hysterical, is that my mother has this ginormous TV, 3D, HD, all this shit, and she's got a fucking VCR hooked up to it.
That's awesome.
I mean, we do have Apple TV
I just
and
gotta
all
look.
that,
I
but
think I have.
yeah, we got like old weddings and stuff that we have to look at, and you have my wedding on there. Oh boy. Which we like to call Count the Dead People.
You know what? I was going to say, you know what's in your video for your wedding? Walter.
I know. Well, no, we didn't really get video caption of Walter. Maybe we did. I don't know. He might be in there somewhere.
He was at the reception.
I know. I think I have like one picture of him from that, walking with a cane, which was very sad. And we were like 30. But anyway, so yeah, do you want to...
That's the news?
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. Absolutely. So I think the big topic that we're going to talk about movie-wise is that me and my boyfriend over here, we went to go see Wakanda Forever last week, and we got some thoughts. We got some thoughts about it. Now, we didn't really get a chance to talk about it when we left the theater.
No.
We always have high hopes when we say...
I need to digest things. That's why I'm not good talking about it right afterwards.
Well, this is what's good, is that, when we do see, we say, oh, we're going to go see this movie, we're giving it a week to digest,
Yes.
I've thought about it. I've watched all my YouTube channels of the ones I respect and their opinions on it and what they thought. And, after a week has gone by, but I'll let you start as far as, because I'm interested to see what you thought of it.
First off, it's got a 0 rewatchability for me. I'm never going to rewatch that unless I really, really have to. Like, going through and rewatching all the Marvel shit.
Yeah. I mean, Phase 4 in general is not, there's no real rewatchability.
Not yet.
I haven't rewatched any. Maybe I saw Multiverse of Madness a second time only because it came out on Disney Plus, and I was like, all right. But like Thor: Love and Thunder, I didn't go see in the theater.
Let's put it this way: I might put some of it on to rewatch, so I can go to sleep.
Oh wow! So what?
Because I don't care. They didn't make me care. Here's one of my problems with it. It was a good movie. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not even gonna pretend. I did like when they do the little spoilers, people, because
we're gonna spoil.
What are we, like
Jesus
a fucking? Where's my little? We're like a fucking week out.
Yeah. Oh, we almost went to the extended version. Oh, you seize up and you eat your mush.
Look, so So when they bring out his son at the end, and they're like, "This is his son," and then they tell you his name, like, of course, like I'm like, like you know, rolling a tear. It's like very sad when they do their little thing, like the homage to him, where they're showing like when they were doing like the little scenes of him from the old movies.
Yeah, I mean that whole beginning of that movie where
She's trying to save him.
Well, yeah, she's trying to save him, and you know, I heard somebody talk about like, oh, what, you know, okay, so they start the movie, he's dying,
right,
of some illness. Okay, we don't know what illness it is,
mystery,
but she's trying to figure it out, and somebody was like, well, they have that healing plan. It's like, no, Dick fucking Killmonger burned all that shit.
Yep.
Even the Black Panther.
They had one that they stole, but that's how he got his Black Panther powers back.
Yep.
Was that one flower.
Yeah, everything else is gone. So she's trying to recreate that healing thing, and it's not working, and she's under the gun, and then next thing you know, but that old opening where they made it all Chadwick, and it was dead silence.
Yeah.
And a lot, you know, I've heard a lot of people talk about going to see this movie in the theater and like dead silence.
Yep.
Now, I think when we saw it, we did have a bunch of young kids behind us. But we did go to a matinee, so and we went as seniors.
Well, and here's, again, I feel like I always point out the problems, but it was a good story. It was okay. Mm-hmm. It was too friggin' busy. There's too many things. They never took the time to really develop any one like storyline or character, and you gave me too many characters at once. I'm like, and I get it. They're using it to set up all this other shit. I'm trying to remember her name.
Ironheart. A lot of people
Ironheart.
had problems with that, where it was like, you're really just putting this in to
exactly. What does
show.
she do? She's not. They don't need her. She's not.
Yeah, it was some sort of. Yeah, I mean,
I get it. Drove the plot that they were after her because she built the machine that could detect, you know,
the vibranium. Or
who cares?
Yeah, it was just something to push this. I mean,
it was.
I will say about the movie is that, you know, you got to give big ups to Ryan Coogler. I mean, he had a whole script done, ready to go for Chadwick, and he passes, and he had to basically start from scratch.
Sure.
And he was given the task of like, how do I make a Black Panther movie without Black Panther?
Because Black Panther don't eat pizza, we don't eat pizza.
That's right. You know, as far as no, I mean, I'll let you finish your point as far as
so I just felt that there was too much of that stuff going on, too many of those things. They're just pulling you in too many directions without actually finishing that direction. I mean, like her, I look at like, it just didn't work.
She was entertaining.
She was at times, but so much of it just felt like it was forced.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact that, you know, and that's a big criticism with a lot of the Marvel stuff that I've seen where someone like the girl that was in Hawkeye, I can't remember her name, like, or even, you know, Ironheart and stuff like that. All of a sudden, they go from, like, zero to, like, I know how to do all this stuff. There's no learning, like all of a sudden, Kate Bishop in Hawkeye is like, oh, wait, she knows how to freaking do Kung Fu?
I'm laughing because, like, Dominique Thorne, who plays Riri.
Yeah, Riri.
I thought you were being inappropriate, like making a bad joke.
Oh, you know, like, oh, Riri.
That's why I kind of just blew over. I was like, yeah, so anyway. And you're like,
Ironheart.
I was
her
like,
name is Riri Williams.
I didn't think about I was like, it shows where my head is.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Looking at this, like, you've got Okoye, is that how you say it?
Okoye, yeah.
Okoye. You've got her. They don't ever do anything with them. They, like, kick her out, and then I get that. But I mean, they just don't do anything with that line. And then the woman who she's, like, they're with, it just, they go all over the place without ever actually, like, finishing anything.
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of people are talking about M'Baku. They didn't really use him that much. There was a lot of stuff to do.
It just feels like this entire phase, like you said, is like they're just got a loose storyline that they're going to follow so that they can just throw things in there to set up the series that are on Disney Plus.
Yeah, and, you know,
it's like we're using the series to set up the movies and using the movies to set up the series.
Yeah, and as far as, you know, I'm glad that they got out of that comedic tone.
Yes.
To go back to serious, because that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy from Marvel. You know, as much as, you know, She-Hulk was entertaining, it was it's a comedy. You know, Thor is a comedy. You know, I enjoy the Falcon Winter Soldier and stuff like. Where there's they could pepper in jokes here and there, but at the same time, I don't want it to be a freaking goof comedy fest.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that part of the reason some people, including myself, are so critical of the movie and their lack of character development and lack of like actually wrapping up certain storylines within the movie because they're using it to set other stuff up, is just because I'm spoiled by some of the character development, the depth of character development you get through the series?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we're very we're at a point now where, how long have they been doing these Marvel movies, right?
Like, maybe 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I remember perhaps more than that.
You think?
I know that when the first Iron Man came out, my daughter Violet was born. She's 14, so there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember when Violet was born, I was in the hospital. You
were in the hospital?
I was. My kid was there.
Oh.
But we were there, and I remember somebody going to us, going like, "Hey, no, I think it was Zoe. It wasn't. Was it Zoe or Violet?"
Okay, let's look it up. I'll look it up. You continue.
If it was 2006, it was Zoe. If it was 2008, no, I think it was Violet because it was 2008. Yeah, they're like, "Hey, are you gonna?"
2008.
Yep. So it was Violet. They go, "Are you gonna go see that Iron Man movie that just came out?" And I'm like, "Iron Man, I guess." Now. Cut to 14 years later, but we're so conditioned. I think personally, now we're getting into sequels and trilogies, and there's a certain cast. The follow up Endgame is tough. Now we're getting into the second, third string people of the Shang-Chi's and the the Eternals, and they really haven't been. And there's some that definitely, like Doctor Strange, was a big disappointment for me.
Yeah. Well, and again, some of that is because they're using these shows to set up the next group, the next phase of Menudo, if you will.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to realize maybe that's because so many people were familiar with. They knew who. If you didn't live under a rock, you knew, even a non-comic book fan, you knew who Iron Man was. You knew who Thor is. You knew who Captain America is. Even if you don't know their whole story, you knew who these people were. And, they used that in the beginning to hook us in, and then use those characters we were familiar with to introduce us to characters that, that we were kind of familiar with. Like, oh, I kind of know who Black Panther is, but I don't know much about him. So would they throw him in?
Yeah.
All these other characters. Now they're like, well, we don't have these characters anymore because the actors who play them are going on to other things. We can't keep making those movies. So we need to call the next, generation of superheroes. But the problem is we're taking what the comics did, and it's like, here's a new generation, the next generation, but nobody knows who the hell they are.
Yeah.
So I get that they have to do all this in the movies to get us familiar, or get most people familiar, so that they continue to watch and be invested in what's going on. I just don't think they're doing a good job at it.
Yeah, Marvel to me is like pizza. There's no such thing as bad pizza, right? So you of all the movies that I've seen, it's not
yes,
like...
there is. I will feed you a pizza with pickles on it.
Oh.
Tell me. Oh, yeah. Challenge
or
accepted.
Little Caesars.
And won.
Little Caesars can suck a dick. Anyway, with the Marvel stuff, it's interesting. Like at this point in the phases, I'm not rushing to go see them in the theater anymore.
No.
I'll be like, especially now with Disney Plus, it's like, all right, you're gonna put Doctor Strange on in 2 months. Like Thor: Love and Thunder, I didn't go see it in the theater. I was like, yeah, all right, I'll catch it. I'll catch it when it goes on Disney Plus, and I want to be invested in the storylines and stuff like that. I want to, I was looking forward to Black Panther, just because it was set. It was the end of Phase 4. Well, it is the end of Phase 4. Now we're looking into, if you look at Quantumania, that whole thing, that looks like they're starting to right the ship and get back into that series.
I hope
we
so.
start talking about Kang, and we still have a big bad. Because really, Phase 4, we haven't had a big bad. All Phase 1, 2, and 3, it was like all from the beginning of the first Avengers. It was like, oh, Thanos is coming. They built that up, built it up. Now it's like Phase 4. There's nothing really to kind of, all right.
Mephisto.
Yeah, Mephisto, who never showed up.
But you know what? And that's the thing is, maybe in the end we're all going to be wrong. Maybe in the end what's going to happen is there'll be this big thing that happens that we all go, holy fuck, I got to go back and watch all, like when it was like, I got to go back and rewatch that piece of garbage Thor 2.
Yeah.
And realize, wow, now in retrospect with what's happened in the future or in the present, that movie actually makes sense. And it's actually a halfway decent movie in continuity.
Yeah. I mean, this is what they call the multiverse saga. So
Yes.
who knows what's going to happen. I mean, I always have faith in it. I think personally it's just, you know, as far as my thought on Wakanda Forever, I mean, I enjoyed it. It didn't blow me out of the water. I did like Namor. I did like the way that they did it. Or actually, it's Namor.
Namor.
Yeah, not Namor. I like he was, and I've heard people criticize him as far as the villains. You know, like with Marvel movies, they always say, well, the villains are never as interesting. You know, like, but I legitimately, when I was watching that movie with Namor, I was like, bitch has got a point. You know, like, you know, everything that he was fighting for, he was protecting his people.
Yes.
And as much as everybody's just like, yay, Black Panther, oh, we're bringing back, like, what he did by introducing, saying, hey, you know, Wakanda was hidden off. It's not Atlantis. I forget the name of what Namor's place is. But these were all hidden from the world, and nobody knew about it. When Black Panther, at the end of the first one, when they're like, oh, we're going to open up, you know, we're going to open up Wakanda for everybody, and they're going to see all the technology. What was interesting about the movie is now it's exactly what you would think would happen, is that, you know, the United States and all these other countries are like, yo, we're going to get a hold of that freaking vibranium, you know, and use it for different things. It was very similar to Iron Man, where like once he came out, I am Iron Man and all that shit, all the government and everybody wanted that, you know, everybody wanted an Iron Man. So now everybody wants vibranium because it's freaking indestructible and all this stuff. So, you know, Namor is going like, hey man, if we don't freaking kill these people up here, they're gonna take everything away from us. They're gonna I'm just looking to protect,
they're all gonna come after us.
Yeah, and I just want to protect my people, and you know, you want to protect your people, and in the end, you know, they did form that sort of alliance. But I love how Namor's just like, well, I'm just biding my time because you know, Wakanda's gonna fuck it all up, and then we're just gonna have to come up and rise, you know. So,
well, they're now gonna go after Wakanda, and Wakanda's gonna come to us and go, "We have an alliance. We need to help you," and then we're gonna take over.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that point. I liked him as a protagonist. That was good. But like I said, you know, everybody knew that Shuri was gonna be the Black Panther.
Well, yeah.
Which I'm kind of like, all right, so she's young. She's what we're going to do, like...
For now. But
for now.
They're teeing you up with young T'Challa.
Yeah. So eventually down the line, I'm sure they'll recast it and stuff. I mean, it makes sense, you know, now with... They're definitely queuing up the Young Avengers, you know, because you have the Kate Bishops, and now you have Riri, you have Ironheart, you have...
You keep saying Riri.
I know, it's Riri Williams. You have... You know, Kate Bishop, what I was saying, Ironheart. Now you have, what's her name? Shuri is Black Panther, and now like they're gonna have this young team, and you know, Ms. Marvel and all that stuff. It could be interesting.
Even She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, you know, like, you know, I'd like to see them right the ship a little bit, you know, and you know, we're gonna be gearing up towards. It's so it's just in the meantime, you know, and at this point, you know, I give it. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I would honestly give it 4 pals out of 5. Didn't blow me away. I liked the story of it. Definitely where there's stuff like that, you know. I'd like to see M'Baku be the king of Wakanda and have Shuri be the Black Panther.
Yes,
because it's always been the two. But at the same time, like I said, everybody's talking about. God, I can't think of her name now. Angela Bassett. Oh my God, she's gonna. Oh
yeah,
she was all right. You know, like I didn't think, you know, Oscar worthy.
Anyway, it was okay.
It was all right. So yeah,
you give it 4, I'd give it maybe 3.
Okay, that's fair. You know,
fair enough.
Fair enough. You know, so yeah, I mean, definitely if you get a chance, you know, watch it on Disney Plus. I guess, you know, it's just so you know what's going on. I mean, I'm hopeful that Ant-Man Quantumania is going to be good. It looks good. I've never been a huge fan of the Ant-Man movies. First one, definitely good. Second one, This one's got Kang in it, and, you know, I'm all yang, yang, yang for Kang, 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 so I'm all...
Kang. Look, we're going to find out. I'm telling you, we're going to find out. And before we move on really quick to the other movies we watched this week, we're going to find out that this whole Kang thing has been bubbling under the surface the whole time. I'm hoping like that they've been really good at doing that all through the other phases. This like almost like I don't want to say a MacGuffin, but like a misdirect of like we got you looking over here thinking this. Like maybe they're pointing us at Kang and they're gonna fucking hit us in the face with Mephisto.
Maybe.
Don't know.
They're talking. You know, it's so funny because every show that comes out, they're like
Galactus, Mephisto.
Yeah, Galactus is. I mean,
Kang. Who's next? Who's another big bad?
Oh,
as you chew your ice.
Man.
ASMR.
Besides those guys, I don't really know.
And that's the other problem is they're throwing so many bad guys at us at once. It's like, well, which one is the real bad guy we're supposed to be watching?
I don't know.
None of
we'll
them.
Find out. Yeah.
Anyway, other movies.
Would you like me to go, or you?
I don't care.
You had some Christmas. Well, the other one that I did,
had Christmas ones.
You're all Christmassy, and I told you Santa didn't come down on the freaking parade yet, so slow your fucking roll.
All right.
No.
Speaking of egg rolls.
Yeah, the other movie I did see this week was I finally got a chance to see Nope. The Jordan Peele jam.
So good.
It was.
Did
really
you see it
good.
coming?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, it was interesting because in the beginning, I did put it on our Hey Pal What's New TikTok. First half of it, I was kind of like, all right, yeah, flying saucer. Okay, cool. By the second half, you know, when the whole crowd gets sucked up by this thing, and they're getting digested, and I'm like, oh, it's on, motherfucker.
Yeah,
it is on,
dude.
When they start spitting out blood and it covers up the house, I'm like, oh,
I don't know where I saw it, but there was a whole like behind the scenes thing that talks about like how they came up with that concept of that alien, that being like whatever it was in the sky.
Yeah, it was really cool because, you know, you're wondering why they're showing up, and then you do realize that Stephen Young freaking in that movie is awesome. That whole where the whole cold open with the chimp was just brutal, you know.
Oh God.
And, you know, he's all traumatized by that, and then he's like, basically the reason this thing keeps coming back is because he keeps feeding them horses. Yeah. He's just like sending them out horses for his show.
Yep.
And he's like a washed-up child actor, but like when they get sucked up in that thing, and they show the woman, the girl that got mauled,
yep,
you're just like, oh god, because we've all heard those stories about the chimp that freaking goes wild, and you know, it was a good analogy of like, you know, with animals, everybody's like, oh, you know, it's fine, but like, you know, they're animals.
When they act the way they're supposed to, we go, oh my god, I can't believe it. We have to kill them.
Yeah, exactly. When it's just like they're just doing what, like with the chimp
doing what a chimp does.
Yeah. Oh, in that.
Well, it's like the bears. It's like, oh, there's a bear. We got to get the bear. And people shoot. It's like there was a story about. I hate to get so sidetracked, but there was a story about these bears that lived in this community, like that were in this neighborhood. These black bears, but they were so domesticated that they would literally walk up to the people in the town. The people in the town would be like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" and pet the bear, and the bear would be like, "Arr," and then walk away.
Yeah.
And this jogger was like, this, I don't know, hiker went out and shot the fucking bear and some of its cubs, like some of the cubs that were around, and like they're like trying to find out what happened. And this guy's in jail now because, you know, for hunting out of season. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, and people do get upset when it's like these animals attack. They're freaking, you know, they're animals.
Can you believe that tiger attacked those guys? Who were those magicians? Siegfried and Roy.
Siegfried and Roy. Yeah.
It's like everybody's like, I can't believe that they were those tigers. Like, yeah, they're fucking tigers.
And that was in the movie too, where they talk about Siegfried and Roy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But it was a great movie. I always enjoy. I mean, Get Out and Us were two movies that
I haven't seen the middle one. It was Get Out. Oh, Us. I haven't seen Us.
It was okay. It wasn't, you know, we were so, and even Get Out at this, you know, it was good. It wasn't like, it definitely was, you know, I think the big thing with Get Out was that everybody was like the guy from Key and Peele is doing a horror movie and like black cultural thing, and you know, it was good. And Yeah, I mean,
substitute teacher video guy.
yeah, you know,
Ron.
you done messed up, Ron. Yeah, no, it was the other one.
You go see Principal Mr. Oshak Hennessy. You mean O'Shaughnessy?
Yeah, but I really do enjoy it. And that's a
So
movie.
would you say in those movies, since they kind of are like a trilogy to a degree, they're not connected yet? I don't think they are. There is. I've seen some theories about Us and what was the first one?
Get Out.
Get Out. That you can find the connection between those two, but not this one. So from listening to you, tell me if I'm wrong, you would say Nope, Get Out, and then Us from best to worst.
Yeah, for my opinion, yeah. I mean,
because I will say I enjoyed Nope way more than I enjoyed Get Out.
Yeah, I would say so too. I mean, it was a surprise for me because it was something that I was like, yeah, it looks good. I'll check it out, you know. But then, like I said, the beginning of it, I was kind of bored. I was like, all right, what's going on here? Okay.
Oh my
weird,
God, would you get to
thing.
it?
Yeah,
What's up with this monkey?
and then as soon as they sucked them up, and that was the most horrifying thing. Watching them
the turn.
get. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Even when they sucked up the freaking flags.
Yeah.
And we're going. I was like, okay, whatever. But with freaking, I keep wanting to call him Glenn. With fucking Glenn and his horse show. That was where everything just turned.
Yeah. Yeah, once and normally, you know, the horse would go out and they'd eat the horse, and that was kind of his show.
That's the private pile scene.
And it was funny, too, because the ranch guy was like, yeah, you know, I'm going to buy those horses back. And he's like, okay. You know, like, no, you're not. Those are up in the sky. But that's the reason that alien kept coming back. You know, when it morphed into that big, huge alien, I was kind of like, really? Okay. But other than that, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I definitely would give it a watch. I think that's another one is it coming out on the Peacock? It's definitely out streaming. I rented it.
It's out streaming somewhere.
Yeah, I definitely get a chance to watch it because it's
nice.
It's a Jordan Peele classic. But those were the only two movies that I watched this week.
So the two I watched, I'll start with the more gooder one. A Christmas Story Christmas.
Now, see, I didn't realize that was out.
Yeah. It's on streaming. I think it's on HBO Max. Could be wrong. I really enjoyed it. It's a nice nostalgic trip.
Okay.
And they almost beat for beat are copying the original one. It takes place in 1973.
Okay.
So now Ralphie's all grown up. He's got his own kids. He's married, you know, and spoilers, you know, supposed to be getting together for Christmas. He gets the phone call. His dad's dead.
No.
Bada-finger. So now he's got to go home, you know, and deal with that. And he takes his kids back. And, you know, there's a lot of, but there's so many moments that they are literally copying like a moment from the original. You know that's what they're doing. And I'm watching going, oh, that's the scene where Ralphie's like, I pulled it off. And he like looks at the camera and smiles and does his like, I got away with it.
Yeah.
And the story follows a lot of that. And it follows like, you know, he's become his dad. And what's really cool is it sets up the idea that like, in 1973, he's grown up. His dad dies. He's trying to be a writer, and like everybody hates his fucking books. He's like doing like 2,000-page like books about like whatever. It's like a nonfiction story. I don't even know. I don't even think they get into what it's about. It's just they point at the fact that it's like 2,000, and they keep doing that thing like, yeah, people are gonna love it. And he does that like. Yeah. Look off, and it flashes back to like a fantasy of his.
Yeah, because he always did have like big fantasies, right. So it makes sense that he would be a writer.
And what's really cool, spoilers, is he's writing about. He's trying to write his dad's obituary.
Oh,
and he just can't. He's like, how do I put my dad? How do I put how I feel about him and what he was into, like a paragraph? You can't. So he winds up writing this whole like story about his dad, which. You know, his wife is like, well, they were asking for the obituary, so I saw that, and I brought it over and gave it to the guy at the paper, and they published it as a story in the paper, and everybody's like, oh, my God, it was so good, and then his mom is like, I haven't read it, and they're like, what, you haven't read it? And she's like, no, I want to hear it in your voice. I want you to read it to me.
Oh.
And it's like, he starts reading it, and it's the beginning of A Christmas Story. And it turns out like that's how A Christmas Story was from stories he wrote about his dad. And they're like, we want more stories about your dad. So it was really good. It was really touching. And at the end, what was really cool is all those moments that you were like, Oh, I get it. That's like a tip of the hat to the original one.
Mm-hmm.
They put those scenes in the credits, like scrolling up a photo from those scenes side by side going up. So it's like, yep, that was that scene. That was this scene.
I'm very happy that movie actually, because we were talking about it when we heard about it, and I was like, it could be really good or it could be a real freaking show.
I thought it was really good, and I would definitely watch it again.
Oh, good. Yeah, because
Totally.
when I saw the trailer, I was worried because I was like, it looked like one of those, as I like to call the, here we go again, like same old freaking thing. And, just,
Nope is another one of those. I'd watch that again.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, even though I know, the big reveal of, I mean, it's not really like a twist kind of thing. It's just, what it's about. It's kind of like, oh, there's a weird alien there. And like, it's just, it's something definitely like if it was on one of the movie channels while I was flipping,
and there were moments in the Christmas Story movie where you're like, can we just get on with it, please?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Now it's not going to be something that you could probably watch the two of them together.
I plan on trying to rewatch it, maybe watch it with Kate now.
Yeah.
Because I was watching it last night and she was next to me. I'm like, I can't believe you don't want to watch this. And she's like, I'm just not, I don't know. I don't want to watch it right now. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But I want to watch the two of them together. The other movie I watched was Spirited, which is the new Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds twist on A Christmas Carol that's on Netflix.
Yeah, I believe it is on Netflix.
That's another one I really enjoyed it because it was a musical. And they acknowledge how ridiculous it is for like A Christmas Carol to be a fucking musical.
Yeah.
Like, why are you singing songs? Like, what is this about this being a musical? And their take on it, they do acknowledge that it's just a copy of A Christmas Carol. And not to spoil it too much, but it's like Will Ferrell's character is Scrooge, who apparently, after he had his like Christmas epiphany, 3 weeks later died. And now he's in heaven with Jacob Marley and all these other people, and they run this department that picks a person every year, researches them, and then does a Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future thing to redeem them.
Okay.
And I'll leave it at that. It's a really good movie. It's fun. You do see the twist. There's no twist, but like you see it coming. But they acknowledge the fact of what they're doing. I like when movies acknowledge what we all know is going on. It's like, you're copying A Christmas Carol. You're doing a modern day twist on A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And, Bill Murray and Scrooge did the same thing. And at one point, Ryan Reynolds says to me, he goes, you mean like Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol? Bill Murray Scrooged with Bobcat Goldthwait in it? He acknowledges it and says it. It's like, okay, you're not pretending like those don't exist.
Yeah. I
which
mean,
is nice.
It's tough, too, especially with, there's not too many Christmas movies, that are original. Like if I see another goddamn Freaky Friday or a Cinderella story, I'm gonna shoot myself in the nuts. Yeah. So it's good to hear that. It's like because near the end, I always laugh because we talk about which I wonder if we are gonna do our holiday special this year. But it was fun last year.
We'd have to do it at your place though.
Oh yeah,
because we'd need the room and.
Mm-hmm. And the raspberry dressing and all that stuff. But like I'm saying, in the beginning, you're always like, oh, Charlie Brown. And then by the end, you're watching Tightwad Tyrone and freaking Fat Albert Christmas. You're like, there's nothing left. There's nothing left to watch. So it's always good to have some new Christmas stuff. Like I said, I got to see Santa come down the thing, and then I can start watching them.
You know what we need to do?
What's that?
Here's one of our future episodes for December.
Okay.
Top 10 Christmas movies.
Top 10. Yeah, we could do a 10.
Or even 5. I don't know. Your top Christmas movies. Like, what are your favorite Christmas movies that every year around Christmas time you will watch?
That's a good rank episode. Because I think definitely, guys, we're going to, as we did last year, normally around the end of the year, we like to do our rank episodes, our rank best movies, best TV, kind of stuff like that. So, yeah, maybe we'll do a rank on on Christmas movies. I'd love to do that. Yeah, because there's some, forgotten classics.
And we could even do bottom 10 Christmas movies, the worst ones.
Oh, yeah. I'd have to put... No, I like the Fat Albert Christmas
I gotta wonder, would Silent Night, Deadly Night fall on that list of movies?
Garbage Day?
Garbage Day!
Would it?
No!
I guess so. Well, that's actually from the. Is it the second one?
Second one, yeah. That's from second one, which I did not realize that the second one was they literally took like footage and from the old one, the first one, and just
it's horrible.
Represented it as a new movie.
And did you realize there's like 4 or 5 of them? And
Yep.
they even get weirder and weirder and more out there. It's
You know what's funny too is because I remember like all the controversy that surrounded Silent Night, Deadly Night. I was like,
yeah.
Oh my God, you're tarnishing the image of Santa Claus. It's like really because the American what's the word I'm looking for?
Krampus?
No, the fucking goddamn the money making machine of greed and. The retail didn't fucking do that already. Like tarnish the image of Santa. Santa's a fucking retail image. That's what he is.
Yeah, Jesus.
I can't think. I don't know why I'm having that fucking brain fart. The word that describes like capitalism. Capitalism destroyed Santa.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Sorry, I just gotta read dictionaries and more. So those are the 2 movies I saw. I enjoyed both of them. I mean, there's TV stuff I watch, but. I mean, we cannot ignore. Are we done with movies? Because we can ignore the fucking the elephant in the room. That is Andor's mom dying. And I had to text you after watching that fucking scene.
Oh, poor Pissbot.
No, not even. Oh yeah, Pissbot. Like, I just want her to back.
Could you stay with me tonight? I don't want to be. I was like, oh God, that's the thing about Lucasfilm and Star Wars. It's like they make you care about a freaking robot.
Yeah, but like someone pointed out, I watched a thing where they point out like even Luke Skywalker, I've never seen a droid act like that before. Uncle Owen, and it's like they had like this operating system in the robots that kind of made them like. Not human, but like act.
Yeah, personalities.
Gave them personalities, but none of them became like emotional. It was very rare to see them that they were like had an emotional attachment to someone else. And, I mean, there's a whole video about the droids of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
That goes into it all, like all the different ones and like their personalities. But I thought it was very interesting. But with the scene I'm talking about is when he's got the freaking tractor beam. I had to go back and I go, Xander, you have to watch this because this is probably the best fucking dogfight in space I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, because everybody that's been watching this show and it's still kind of lower in the ratings. And people, it's too boring. It's all talk.
It is not.
That was the most Star Wars thing ever. And freaking Luthen with that, he's like stolen with the tractor beam.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, let me get this. Hold on, I'm gonna get this. And then he's just, the robot's just like, setting them up.
I didn't pick up until the second time I watched the episode that him firing that one engine so he could say, I got a malfunctioning engine was to cover up that he's powering up those, I guess they were lightsabers.
Yeah, I mean, because Luthen does have access to some kyber crystals.
Oh boy, does he! But like, I had to explain to Xander too. I was like, he goes, "Wait, what was that?" I go, "He's got these missiles or whatever the hell they are on the back, and because the tractor beam is pulling him back, when he opens it up and launches them, the tractor beam just pulls him right to it to destroy it."
Oh yeah, and just that flip with the lightsaber that we've never seen that in Star Wars.
I've never
and I
seen
was just
that.
like, oh my God.
And it goes back to the earlier episode where he talks with when Cassian's on the ship with him, and he's like, "Oh, I think I can handle it."
Yeah. Luthen is a badass. It's all. I mean, I cannot wait.
God bless the Scars guards.
Oh yeah,
some good acting genes in that. Well, for some of them.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole scene was amazing. Yeah, just the emotion of it.
Hearing Mothma,
Mon Mothma
talk Mothra.
Mothra
talk about like how she's like basically like, I'm so fucked right now.
Oh yeah,
the Empire's on to me.
And she's down like 400,000 credits.
Oh God,
and she's gonna have to
pimping out her daughter.
She's got to pimp out her daughter.
And you know what?
Not for nothing, she is a bitch anyway.
Well, and they're building it up to like her daughter's okay with it.
Yeah,
like her daughter has embraced the culture that she has rejected from their home planet, and like she's like, I can't believe it. And it's like, but that's what happens is like, I think as parents, everything we like, oh, I'm against that, and your kids like either my dad's awesome and I'm gonna do that too, or they're like, fucking parents, man, no, screw them, I'm going the other way.
Yeah, they always like to go the other way, and you know, just so much emotion in this show. I mean, when he gets the call from he's on there and he keeps going, Cass, gotta tell you, he's like, stop calling, don't use names. We can't use it. Yeah, I'm sorry, Cass. But anyway, Cassian, he just kept doing it.
Yo, Cass, your mom's dead, okay?
And he just just blank stare. And then it was and somebody had pointed it out how reminiscent it was, where at the end of that episode, he's looking out into the beach, into the water. It's very similar to the end of Rogue One.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's just like, oh, fuck. So I cannot wait till next episode.
Next episode's the last one, isn't it?
Yes, it's the season finale.
Is it going to be longer? I feel like this one was a lot longer, too. It was like almost an hour.
Yeah, they're pulling like 40 minutes.
Well, and Andy Serkis, I kind of passed over it, but like he was talking about the fact of like how like mentally just draining filming all that prison shit was.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's just masterful. I think it's definitely, I mean, when we do our ranks of TV shows, I'm pretty sure that one's going to be number one for both. But you never know. I'm excited to see the end of that. I mean, I'm even excited to see the end of...
Andy Serkis said working on Andor's prison set really messed with your head.
Oh, I'm sure. Because Tony Gilroy ain't messing around.
And I'm telling you, it makes me... I've seen a lot of comparisons to... what is it? The THX 117 or something like that. The movie, George Lucas's like first movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comparisons to how Andor's being shot and that.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely, the way that he shot it is very much similar to Rogue One, where it's like you could watch Rogue One into A New Hope and it's not jarring. It's not like...
And that's also what I'm loving, is that like you're watching this and you're like, one of the channels I watch, Screen Crush, he was talking about is like, they keep pointing out the fact that 6-array camera system that's up there that was in the original Star Wars in New Hope, and it was like the fact that like they could beef up the technology, but it's like, no, when this was made in the 70s, this was the limits of the technology, and all the new show is like we're sticking with the limits of the technology from then and keeping it consistent.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It really is.
And they pointed out one of the guys in the background was washing something. It's like the fact that guy had a background guy doing that they had to build the robot that he's working on in the background.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't think they built it. I think they just had some Star Wars robot props sitting around there. It was like, here, just pretend you're working on that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was really, really good. I mean, I love that the alien. We finally get to see some like alien activity with those nets that were like gross as hell.
Oh yeah.
And I love that his guy was like, "I'm gonna go for it," and he was just like, "I don't know." And then the two aliens are looking at them running at the ship, like, "Look at these assholes."
Yeah.
Like he's like, "Hit the nets."
But we finally start to see people out there like being kind to each other. It was like, I think they're. I mean, from what I could tell, again, the second time I watched, I picked up on that's what was going on. That like you said, they're like, look at these fucking guys. Hold on a sec. And they catch them I picture them going like, yo, let's fuck with these guys, right? Let's pretend we're going to turn them over.
Yeah.
And they go through this whole thing, we're going to turn you over, we can get money for you, a bounty, blah, 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 whatever. And they go, well, just kidding, come on, where are you going? We'll give you a ride.
And I also love, too, and I've heard other shows point this out, too, it's like when they do the alien stuff, I much prefer the aliens with the subtitles.
Yes.
And as opposed to like, hey everybody, I'm an alien. You're like, no, you're Dax from freaking Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Well, if it's an Obi-Wan Kenobi or freaking Han Solo, Solo. You're like, just do the subtitle. And we didn't even mention about freaking. We talked about the Kyber crystals. Luthen, he has that thing. Looks an awful lot like a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you want to touch? He's like, no, give it that back.
Either give it back or put it down, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Before you hurt yourself.
Yeah, some people are like, no, give it.
Well, and someone pointed out in his shop, what the fuck is her name? Padme's like head thing is in his shop on display.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think he's a Jedi. I think he just has. Look, I acquired this freaking weapon. Yeah, and you gotta love Saul Guerrero. Yeah.
I wonder though, like he may not be.
Call the Coca-Cola.
But the brilliance of that, and it took me like 2 times watching it because I was like, who the fuck is this guy they're talking about?
Oh, Krennic.
Right, and
Not
I'm like,
Krennic.
no, Krieger.
Yeah, Krennic is in Rogue One.
Well, I was like, who the fuck is Krieger? And Krieger is like one of the rebel groups. That's the rebel group that Saul was like, I don't want to. He's crazy. I don't want to be with him. Nobody wants to work with him. He's too extreme and everything like that. And now he's like, I'll work with him. And you start to see the beginnings of Saul Guerrero's like paranoia.
Oh yeah,
that we see in Rogue One, where like the fucking guy who's like, I left the Empire and risked everything, death, torture, to bring this information to you because what's his name, Jyn No, that's her. Anyway, the guy who's designed the Death Star, that he sent me. He sent me to you to bring you this information, and now you're gonna fucking torture me because he's paranoid. And you're seeing the beginnings of that like paranoid. And he's like, yeah, Tube's over there. He's the guy been feeding me information.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like
2 tubes.
He's trying to say to him, he's like, it doesn't matter who's feeding me information. We're all on the same side. Stop being so fucking paranoid.
Yeah, he always went. Saul went.
Right.
The Gold Gullet.
But
I love the Gold Gullet. I'm sorry. Which hopefully he'll make an appearance in the show.
That's right. Let me rub your face. Let me rub
Yeah.
your face and read your mind.
Yeah, no, but yeah, it was funny because because Saul, Saul's ready to go like
Saul Goodman.
Saul Goodman. Saul was ready to be like, okay, I'll go on this mission. I'll go on with you.
He's
and he
like,
goes, no, he's going into his death. Would you do that to me?
And again, they did a really good job of explaining why. It's like, no, if and I had I was like, oh my god, because at first I'm like, wait, what the fuck is he talking about? But then when he stops, he goes, if you go and intervene or we pull out, they're gonna know we have somebody on the inside.
Yeah.
And if we can't risk losing you and you telling him, so don't go.
Yeah.
He gets caught, he dies, and our inside guy who is like high up there is still safe.
Yeah.
I wonder how long before fucking Vader gets onto him and is like, choke.
Yeah, little freaking death choke. Yeah, but I just can't. I cannot wait. I can't even wait for. I can't wait for the series finale of Walking Dead too.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens to Milk Boy there. Serial.
Oh, Serial.
Like, does Serial come face? He's got to come face to face with Andor again.
I think they're all going to like. I think as much as he knows that he can't go to Ferrex,
he has to.
He has to, because now. Oh, and then freaking poor Bix.
Oh,
Bix. She's just like they drag her out, and she looks like
she's lost her mind.
She's just and they're trying to get information.
Well, you know,
from
who
her
she
now.
looks like. She looks like the pilot who got his mind read. Is like, hey, the Go-Gullet guy.
I don't know why the Go-Gullet always gets in my head. But I just like her, and they're like, "Is that him? Is that him?" And it's just like, "Do you think she's good?" So it's all. I think it's all going to go down on Ferrex.
Oh my God.
It should be. It should pretty wild.
We're an hour and a half in.
Wow. Okay. So, shall we? I'll do a quick music news.
It's time for John's hairless boobs. It's ghetto fabulous.
Which
it's
by,
Bussy. It's Bussy.
It's Bussy.
This news better be Bussy.
Yeah.
Bussy
I'm telling you. I mean, as far as this music news, we did mention that the Hazard, Biohazard, they're coming back.
I saw that.
The original four, my boy Bobby, he's back in there. Good for him, man. They got the Meathead Evan in there, and they're talking about new music. They're talking about a tour, which is great. So I'm pretty excited about that. There's also, as far as releases go, there was one band that I checked out that I didn't even know existed. And I did put it on the page. It's a band called Fake Names. It's got some people from Bad Religion in it and from Refused, and they have a single out. It's Expendables. Their album is due in March, but they have a song that I put on the playlist called "Delete Myself."
Okay,
it's good if you're into Refused. Can be a little rough on some people because it's all screaming and stuff, but it's got a good mix of punk and kind of rock, and it's straightforward. I checked it out. I'm a big fan. So Fake Names they're called. They're coming out with an album in March, but they do have a single. Other than that, as far as new releases, it's funny because a lot of them, looking at my Discover. Besides one, Smashing Pumpkins came out with that album, the Atom
Okay.
Act 1. It's supposed to be like they're doing like a trilogy of records. Oh my god, I couldn't get through like the second song.
Dude, I listen now to Smashing Pumpkins stuff, and I'm like, how did I ever listen to this?
I mean, Gish is really good. Siamese Dream.
Yeah.
They do have some jams, but I do remember going to see him at Lollapalooza. 1 song, 2 songs in, I'm like, fuck this, I'm out. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for Siamese Dream or anything like that on this Adam album, good fucking luck. First song, they sound like they're Pink Floyd.
Oh,
And I'm like, and then his voice comes in, and you're like,
and then I smoke the weed, and then I
plant
plant the seed until the bet is freed.
Yeah, so, yeah, you might want to, I mean, if you like them, let us know. I mean, but there's been a lot of re-releases and remasters. Like, I listened to Kiss. They re-released Creatures of the Night, like a deluxe edition. And it was funny because I listened to it. First of all, Creatures of the Night, as much as I goof on Kiss now because they're like a fucking carnival show.
Right.
They don't have the original
They're a parody
four.
of themselves.
I did put on Creatures of the Night because it is a good album. Like Creatures of the Night was right before they did the unmasking and they did Lick It Up. Like, I love that era of Kiss. It's heavy as shit, good guitar, good songs. So it made me kind of go down the Kiss rabbit hole again. Like, I was like,
but see,
oh, man. And then I put on, you know what it was after that? I listened to some of that, and then I put on Kiss Unplugged, which is, I'm sorry, that album is, the Unplugged that they did for MTV, where they brought out Ace and Peter, and they did it is so freaking good. It's like,
I might have to give it a re-listen.
They do songs on it like, not their typical, like Rock and Roll All Night, which of course they do at the end. It's always their thing. But like, they do like See You Tonight, which is on Gene's solo record.
Jesus.
They do World Without Heroes from The Elder. They do Sure Know Something. They do Coming Home. You're like, fuck, man, these songs are great. And they're like acoustic, and it really got me down the rabbit hole of like, man, I put on Kiss Unplugged after that, and I was like, God damn it.
Well, here's what they do with those. This is what bothers me. And I don't know if they did it with the re-release of that, but like, wow. Let's go way back to when we first started this podcast. I think I brought it up under music at one point. A re-release, remastered Kiss album. I forget what album it was.
I think it was Destroyer.
Yes.
Where they did
But they had all these like demo versions, and like, the God of Thunder with Paul singing it and shit. And I was like, I don't want all that. I don't need all that shit.
Yeah. See, I mean, I will say on this remastered or re-released Creatures of the Night, you get to the end, and then it's just like, original demo, take 11, take 4, Gene Simmons demo, take 2. I don't listen to that stuff.
I don't need that.
And it's not like when you hear the remastered, I don't hear a big difference.
No.
So it's just kind of a re-release.
Well, I'm interested too because I don't know if this is music news or not, but is it Paul McCartney releasing that like limited box set of Paul McCartney stuff that's like really expensive, and each edition comes with like a record that's only in that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's for like the diehard fans, It's the
but in that, I'm interested in hearing things like the Beatles that were like originally recorded. Say some of the stuff was recorded in mono, and now they're remastering it and putting it out in stereo.
Yeah,
like the early stuff. Okay, I'd be interested in hearing that because you're gonna hear a difference.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that, definitely. I mean, when it comes to that, but like, a lot of these albums, when you go through, like even Guns N' Roses, I noticed they put out the super deluxe editions of Use Your Illusion 1, and they actually took 1 and 2. And it's funny, well, I did this with Spotify, is, those 2 records, I remember I was, huge into them, and I saw them recently, they were really good, but it's like, 1 and 2 was definitely overblown, and you're like, you could have made one kick-ass record out of the good songs. So that's what I did. I literally made a Spotify playlist and called it Use Your Illusion 3, and it's just all my favorite songs from those 2 records.
The Bumpus is upstairs.
Bada-finger.
No amount of soundproofing can stop that.
Yeah. So there has been a lot of, like I said, the Creatures of the Night one, the Use Your Illusion 1, and they did a deluxe of the both Use Your Illusion. Same thing. It's like, here's a live version from 1970. You're like, all right. I guess if you're a huge fan, you can get into it. But those were really. I mean, really, I only saw the new band that I saw that was the fake names. Was that Crosses has some stuff out, which is Chino's kind of side trippy project kind of stuff. Nothing really jumped out except for the one single, and Smashing Pumpkins has got a freaking record out, but so that'd be my music news for the weekend.
We are so short on music news. That's okay. You can't have something new all the time.
Well, also too, it's near the end of the year, so it's like Wakanda Forever we talked about. That was really the only big movie. Anything else, like December usually has big movies. This year, I don't. There's
I don't
nothing
think there's anything
really
coming out
till like February. So.
Other than me, there's nothing coming out.
Yeah. So this was a long one, but we had fun. We always have fun. And like I said, we are going to be on the lookout. We're going to start doing our ranks. We're going to do the Christmas one. We'll do the. We'll have another Christmas spectacular. I think that was a lot of fun the last time we did it. And,
it was very chaotic. Hopefully, it's a little bit more organized this time.
Yeah, I think we've gotten a little better.
A little bit.
We're getting there. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Sackofsin.com, guys. We're planning our big spring showcase coming up. We got
spring shindig.
Yeah, we got some more submissions that came in. I got to get back to them this weekend. And, this weekend is going to be a big work on the website.
Yeah.
A lot of submissions that came in I got to respond back to. But, definitely check out Sackofsin. And, if you're an artist, food vendor, just a talented motherfucker, just, fill it out, join the group. Hopefully the spring showcase, what we're talking about is going to be big. Hopefully, we're getting there. So we just got to pick a venue. We got to, cross our I's and dot our T's, but, that stuff. So, like we always say, like, share, subscribe, touch yourself.